So I quit smoking weed July 5th, 2022, I believe, was the last time I smoked a joint. It was on vacation with some buddies, and that had been something I've been doing for so long, from about 16 and a half all the way to I was just about to turn 22 there. Just my last week of 21, and yeah, I just stopped, and it's been 435 days. I don't keep this memorized. I have a website open. I just thought I'd search it up for the video, but 435 days since I last smoked. And yeah, so from 5 years of smoking every day, smoking something, whether that was like a weed vape and then that turned into joints and edibles occasionally. And yeah, it's been 435 days, and this is my experience being completely sober since then. And I love it. It's just, I feel so much better now than I did back then. And it's crazy how much of a difference everything has made. I used to convince myself that I could be so productive while smoking, but then so much of my free time and energy would go into smoking, right? And so then I would end up in the high of smoking a joint outside, enjoying the nature, enjoying the weather, whatever, being with friends, writing down ideas, but then I would just get lost in social media. I'd get lost in YouTube. I'd get lost on my phone. And then I would just end up spending at least 40 minutes, damn near every time I smoked, just wasting time. And I wouldn't say there's such a viewpoint towards creatives and only being creative with weed, and that is so not true at all. I've made my best work, my best clothing designs, my best poster edits, my best everything has been in the last year, in my opinion, and that has been completely sober, So I back then when I was younger, I would say oh yeah, weed helps me be creative, but it's such a perception limiting thing, and it comes down to you want to view it that way, so you will view it that way. But if you just do the things and tune in with that flow of ideas sober, the same thing happens. You'll get lost in the same ideas, and you'll be just as creative, is my point. Well, so the reason I quit, honestly, is just it was taking up so much of my life. I was using it as an escape, as many people are, and just trying to use it to calm down from everyday life, escape from problems, and I don't want to think about certain things, so I'll smoke, and then you come down, and then boom, you got all the same things arise again, and then that's just an extra stress hormone bump that you didn't need if you were just facing the rest of the issues head on, facing life head on. And that's one main thing that I looked at it when I quit that motivated me, is I just want to be strong enough to take what I've been going through and just go through it head on, sober, and just able to be mentally clear while I'm doing that. And I would say the growth has been exponential because of that perspective for me. And yeah, everyone is different. I'm not saying weed is horrible. There's there's like many effects for certain people going through certain injuries and physical pain where it's like CBD can be so helpful. That's a whole different conversation. But in terms of actually smoking weed every day, I was completely addicted. You know, you get addicted to the routine. You get addicted to the motions of taking a hit, of everything, being in a circle with your friends or whoever, and smoking, rotating. Like, it's this whole like ceremony almost. And I don't know, I feel like I got all that I could experience out of that for the like over 4 years that I did it. And I was just completely dependent on it. I didn't want it to be that way. And that was one thing that I struggled with for a while. Was I was like aware that it was an issue. And like when you're aware that it's an issue but you can't stop it, that's when you know like you are addicted to it. And I was totally addicted to it. And the worst part is like I was like physically addicted to the routine of smoking, and it had turned into like such a negative experience for me where I would just like have these terrible experiences smoking where I would just get all in my head and anxious, and I would have these like panic attack type experiences every time I would smoke, and yet I would like still do it. And it was like embarrassing to myself and it was stupid, but like I can't feel like I regret any of that because that was like what it took for me to understand what I know now about myself and about that whole thing. And that's what motivated me enough to make a change for myself in my life. And yeah, it's like I didn't enjoy doing it anymore, and it was like that for a while. And like there would be certain times like I wanted to just do things like normal, like I just wanted to be a normal person, and then like the people I was around wanted to smoke. And it's like for so long I felt like I had pressured myself into just doing it because it was there in those situations. But after enough time, like I realized that I could just separate myself and not feel pressured and just do things normally. If I'm with my friends and they smoke, like it doesn't have to be some big thing. Like I just don't smoke and I'm still hanging around. Or yeah, it's just having people in your life there who are open to like realizing that you're on a different path and not treating you any differently. You know, that's when you have like real friends. But yeah, your friends smoking still and you not is like, that can be a way deeper conversation. But I don't know. For me, I just have avoided it fully for over a year now, and it has been so beneficial for me. I've become more productive than I've ever been at any point in my life in the last year. And like I can like vividly look back at like the years I was in school and like in college, and my first 2 years in college, and like all I did was like go to school and smoke and then go to work at night and then smoke. And that was my days for 2 years, you know? And it was just such an escape, which like I said before, but it's like I did like nothing. I just hung out with friends, worked, went to school, smoked, and just like scrolled, you know? I mean, this was years ago now, but still worth mentioning that you can get caught in these loops, and the loops are hard to get out of. But like once you decide to quit, or like it's easier than you think, you know. The first time I tried to like cold quit, which was like 6 months prior to like actually quitting, I definitely had some like withdrawal symptoms. Like I felt like uh sensitive to like everything, like my thoughts, emotions. I just felt very sensitive. I obviously had like the weird dreams, because most of the time when you smoke like every day, you don't really dream. So you start dreaming, and dreaming is like such an essential part of life. Like to me, I believe dreaming is like such a big part of just like the human experience. And not dreaming, like I feel like that you're just missing this huge thing. And so when you stop smoking, you start dreaming again. You know, I dream pretty regularly now. I feel like that's just like part of life. And not having that, I feel like there's just something missing with your like in your soul. For me, I know that sounds kind of stupid, but I'm yeah, I don't know, just the little details. But yeah, like it's weird because I would have these withdrawals when I would quit. I like couldn't eat much at first, but everyone's different, you know. But that all went away after a few days. Like honestly, like in terms of like quitting things I was addicted to, like nicotine was worse than quitting weed, and then caffeine was worse than both of those things, you know. I know that might sound surprising, but like I tried to quit caffeine like so many different times, and the withdrawal symptoms and the migraines from quitting caffeine were worse than weed by far. So I know it's possible because I've been through it. And yeah, like I said, everyone's different, but it's worth doing. It's worth changing if that's what you want. If you want to change that, change it, you know, and don't look back. I don't get any real like temptation to smoke at all anymore. And that's not in like a hateful kind of way or anything. Like I just don't. Like it's not that it like disgusts me, but like I feel like grossed out putting it in my own body. You know, I don't judge my friends or other people for smoking. But like for me, I just like prefer to be in a clear head. I prefer to like live my life taking things straight on, and the clarity and the ability to create with a sober mind is just like so much better for me. I'm not like ADHD jumping from thing to thing, which I mean I am a bit, but like not nearly as much like as when I was smoking. Like now I can like dial in and like focus and have this focus point and just do like solid deep work. And that's something that I wasn't able to do before. You know, I would get distracted pretty easily, and I mean we all do, but weed just kind of emphasizes those issues and emphasizes basically everything. But yeah, that's my experience with quitting weed. It has been a while. I've come to this point where like I remember, like I could remember what it felt like to feel high like pretty vividly for like a month after quitting, maybe a couple months. But like now, like I can kind of get glimpses of it, but it's hard for me to remember like the real feeling. It's hard for me to like get back to that feeling, because like I don't want to get back to that feeling. I've experienced that part of my life already. I've spent over 4 years experiencing that part of my life already, and I'm on to a new point, and that's it, you know? And yeah, things feel better when I'm not smoking, and I enjoy experiences better. My memory's better. Everything in life for me is better without weed.